Alrighty, guys, time to wrap it up for today. It's 3:30, and we are looking at the consolidation day. A little bit of profit taken from that crazy run we had yesterday. Not completely surprising. We did make new highs, though, so we're still very much in stage one. The profile move out of the middle to the upside. So I would not be too worried about it just yet. It doesn't look like they're falling apart. It definitely looks like, yeah, there was some profit taking based on that big move yesterday. So we were looking at potential. We're looking at buying against these support areas in the morning, 77, 85, the 75s, and the 60s. Below 60s, that was when bets are off. We're looking for a retracement trade. And true to form, the freaking guys had to run it down there and really spook the whole thing, and then reverse it right back up again. And so far, they're holding this level. They're holding that 77, 60. So as long as they stall, as they hold above that 60s, I'm going to start off range bound. Maybe favored alongside, but given the overnight, I would just start off range bound and see if they can extend. Overall, we're still in the move out of the middle, so I would not be super aggressive on the short side. But if they start trading below that 60s in the overnight and start retracing, that could be a nice short trade setting up there. You never know. Right now, I'm going to start off favoring the long side, emphasizing range bound trading, and let's see how far they can take it. But this was nothing but spectacular, this move up. And so far, I mean, this hasn't been a very bad day at all in terms of backing off. A bit of selling. It's looked pretty good in the morning when they started making new highs, but then, okay, then started backing off and backing off and backing off. So there we are. Started, and I haven't taken any trades on the ES. Took a couple of trades on the Nasdaq early on, but you can see here in the afternoon, we got into that 2 o'clock hour, nothing, no reaction one way or the other, and it looks to me like they just flat out range bound going into the close in the range bound market. So watch that level, the 77.60s. Below that one, look for a potential retracement trade. Otherwise, I would look to buy against it if I see the opportunity. If you want to be a little bit less aggressive on buying against that one, you can wait until they start trading above that 77, 75s. I would give you an opportunity to potentially get part of a retracement to the upside. All right, so that's the ES Nasdaq, same story there. They also always true to form run it lower than you expect. So they ran it higher pretty good in the morning, and then it started backing off, and as they took out the session highs. I mean, we talked about this single print. That was the level we paid attention to this morning, 750s. And if they trade below that one, we were going to take off the long buys. Right now, they are pretty much, well, we're going to start looking for that retracement trade, but and so far they've been, yeah, taking it almost one level lower than you would expect, and then just kind of holding right there. So Nasdaq is the one to watch if they're going to try to take this lower or not. So it could go either way. I would look for, given that if you have a nice little ledge down here at the 70 at 29,720, I would pay attention. I would just adjust this a bit and say below that 720s, they take out that 4 letter ledge. I would be more inclined to lean in on the short side going into the close, maybe even into the overnight. And they can run it down here to that 3 letter ledge here, that 560, 570. And that would be my expectation if they take it lower. Probably have some earnings come out after the close as well. Potentially could move it, but right now a little bit of profit taking going on the based on that big move we have up had in the morning. And this again, they took it higher, backed off a bit. I had two trades on the Nasdaq this morning. That was over here. The first one was on the way down. They took out the mean, took out the initial balance low. On that retracement, I got a short. And look at that. Freaking guys. The high ticked me on that trade. Just knocked me out. And then whole thing just came apart. Now, I was a little bit aggressive on that one because once they took out that low and started backing off a bit, I got short on that thing again and made my money back plus another $40. So first trade was a $40 loser. The second trade was an $80 winner. And that's pretty much, and I kind of stopped at that point thinking like, this is just crazy. So it's hard to get on it, especially on these pullbacks, because you just never know. Sometimes you just go a little bit and run lower. Sometimes you run it all the way up to the mean, and then some. It's just difficult. So I mean, I didn't want to move. I was almost moving that stop, but I figured like, the time you move the stop, that's when they're going to run it up to the mean or even higher, or even back up to the midpoint here, and you're just going to be a huge loser instead of getting out early. But getting out early also gets you into that potential high tick, high tick field, which sucks. So anyway, so up $43 in two contracts on the Nasdaq so far. But I would start off range bound On the Nasdaq, maybe start with a slight bias to the downside, given that they've been trying to take it lower, much more so than the ES has. So Nasdaq, I would not be surprised if they try another leg lower or something, but we'll see. But if they take out that 4 and now 5 letter ledge, they're down there again. So if they're down there to that ledge, I would be more inclined to hop on a look for a retracement trade to the downside. We will see how it goes. Last 10 minutes is going to be interesting to see what they do. And on the bond side of things, we are holding on. They're pretty much trading in the range. Not much going on there in terms of direction. They backed off a little bit, but stalled at that mode. That mode held up pretty good at 26. And we have been going sideways. A little bit of reaction back and forth, but not much. That's about it. So not much else to say about it. So back to the ES and the NASDAQ. And we're pretty much where we left it now. Going into tomorrow's trading, we have a little bit of news, I think. So that would be Thursday. We got the job cut report, jobless claims, productivity and costs at 8:30. Nat gas report, and that's about it. So at 8:30 we have news. So actually it's kind of weak tomorrow in terms of news. Friday, however, we get the employment situation, and that's going to be a little bit of action going on there. Alrighty, guys, we'll wrap it there. So far on my part, 2 trades, 1 winner, 1 loser, up $43 in the Nasdaq. That's it so far. All right, guys, we'll leave it there. I'll see you back bright and early in the morning. We'll go at this again later.